All right, well, thank you all for coming to the second Blue Ribbon Mentor Advocate Participation in Evolution Summit. We think that there's probably somewhere between 220 and 250 people here today, which is really exciting. I'm really glad to see you all in the same place. And I think we have some good stuff for you to do today. So let's jump right in. I want to start by telling you a story. I want to tell you about a story about Sonia. Some of you all might know Sonia. She's one of our students at Chapel Hill High School. And Sonia's on a path. In fact, in this picture, you can see she's on a path at Chapel Hill High. And all of our students in Blue Ribbon Mentor Advocate, we think, are on a path. What we want is for you to be on a path to success, to college, to all of your dreams. And we want you to know that Blue Ribbon Mentor Advocate is an important part of your path, students. We provide you with opportunities for you to be successful, to get to wherever it is that you want to go. Now sometimes, students like Sonia end up not so happy because they realize too late that they didn't do some of the things that they needed to do. And all the opportunities that were presented to them, maybe they said, I don't want to wake up early on Saturday morning, or I don't want to go to that, it sounds like it's going to be boring, and they don't take advantage of those. And then later on they realize, because I didn't do those things, I don't have the opportunities that I need. They get upset, and Sonia says, oh, I wanted to go to UNC. What happened? I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. But sometimes the students do what they're supposed to do. And then they get excited because they're rewarded with great opportunities. He says, no, I can go. I can go to UNC or Duke or any of these other schools. And the goal of our participation in Evolution Summit is to help you understand all the opportunities that Blue Ribbon provides and why they're important for you to take advantage of them. So that if you want to go to one of these incredible colleges or any college that you want to, that our dream is that every single one of you will have the opportunity to make a good choice when you graduate from high school of where you want to go and not be stuck with only one or two choices or choices that you don't like, but end up with really good choices so that you'll be happy. Today we're going to talk about participation in the program, evolution of what's changing, so you know what to take advantage of and what's going on with Blue Ribbon, and we're going to do some celebration because there's some great things that we want to celebrate with you. And these three things are going to come up in every session that we have today. I want to start talking about participation. Last year we did an evaluation of our program and to see how we're doing and whether our program is working. Almost all of you in the room, except for probably the newest people, participated in a survey. And in that survey, we found that we actually have some pretty good results. We're having an impact that's positive on our students' lives. And if you participate, there are some good rewards for you. You can see some of them up here on the screen. When we asked our parents and students specifically, what do you get the most out of Blue Ribbon Mentor Advocate? They told us that the number one thing that they get out of it is empowerment. And this is good. We think empowerment is very important. In our High School Youth Leadership Institute, we focus on 4 characteristics of leadership: vision, communication, empowerment, and can a high school student tell me the 4th one? Shout it out, high school students, you all know. Come on, high schoolers, empowerment and they're all shy and they're all in the back of the room. The 4th characteristic of leadership that we teach is action. You can be empowered to go and do something, but you have to actually take the action. And so we want to turn your empowerment, of feeling like Blue Ribbon helps you be empowered to be strong and successful, and we want to turn it into actions that you do, things that get you along that path that Sonia was on. Last year at our participation summit, we introduced the agreement and guide to you. And we said, here are all the activities that we want you to do as part of Blue Ribbon Mentor Advocate. And that in being in the program, if you do these things, this will be your path, and these will be the actions that you'll take. And so we also evaluated, when we asked you if we were having impact, we said, how is this working? And we found that it was working pretty well, that most people in the program were doing almost everything that we suggested that you do in the participation agreement, with the exception of 2 things. The 2 things that we found people weren't doing were these. We only had about 50% of our mentors and parents attend a parent-teacher conference together last year. And we're still having trouble getting all of our students who are in middle school and high school and have any grade below a B to participate in tutoring every week. One thing that's in common between these two is that they require adults to take action. Obviously, for the tutorial, we need parents and mentors to be making sure that students who need the academic help are participating in the tutoring. And we have those programs set up, and in your breakout sessions today, if you need more information about how to get tutoring, you can get that in your breakout session. The parent-teacher conference is solely the responsibility of the parents and the mentors. We need you to schedule those and make sure that you're visiting with teachers. When we asked people, why didn't you go to a parent-teacher conference, the #1 response that we got was that my student is already doing well and I didn't feel like I needed to go. And I want to tell you today that I want to give you a different message. That even if your child has all A's and B's or is doing well, however you quantify it, it's very important that you still go to parent-teacher conferences. Teachers need that communication to know what your expectations are, and that even if your student is doing very well, you can still ask the teacher, how can my student do better? Or what other opportunities are available for my child to enhance what they're learning in class? What can they do? What summer opportunities? What out-of-school opportunities? So that they can continue to grow and learn. And finally, even if your child is doing well, you may not want them to fall back. And one of the best ways you can make sure they continue to do well is to attend those parent-teacher conferences and keep your expectations high. So another piece of response that we got from you all when we asked about our participation agreement was that you said to us, if I'm not doing what you said I should do in the participation agreement, what are you going to do about it? Which is a good question, because we didn't really have an answer. We didn't really have any consequences last year when we planned that. And so we convened a committee made up of 4 students, 4 mentors, and 4 parents. And we got them to help us create a plan of what our response would be. The first thing they told us is that we should check in with you guys twice a year. And so we're trying to do that. One check-in is today. And they said, you should have a checklist so that we can just check off and know if we're doing everything. So today you're going to have the opportunity to go through a checklist. And they said that we should have an in-person meeting with you. And so this year, over the course of the school year, we're trying to make sure that every mentor, student, and parent has the opportunity to meet in person with a Blue Ribbon staff member to talk about your participation. And so if you're in elementary or middle school, you'll do that with Sophia Pitts. If you're in high school, you'll do that with Lori Clark. And then these other pieces down here on the bottom, we put together into a plan that we'll introduce to you today. This is our participation levels and responses, and this document is inside of your folder. The participation levels show you, depending on how much you're doing, kind of what our response is to how much activity you're doing. And you can see if you're a full participant, we think the world is yours. You're doing great. You have so many opportunities, we can almost guarantee you're going to be successful and have all those choices that Sonia wanted to have. And you get rewarded with our incentives. Just like in our participation agreement, we have an incentive column that says, here's all the things that we offer to you for being such a good participant. If you're maybe not quite there and you're partially participating, haven't done everything, then today you're going to have the chance to create a small action plan that will get you up to full participation by the end of the year. Okay, we have a form for you. It'll be very easy for you to do. But you need to recognize that if you're only partially participating, you also get only part of the benefits of the program. And so there are some things that you may not have access to until you get up to full participation. Finally, we think there are about 10 matches in the program that are participating at a level that we would consider inadequate. And that means you're simply not meeting enough, you're not doing the activities that we recommend, and we're not sure whether your commitment to the program is going to result in you being successful, and we feel like you're missing out. And what that committee of parents and mentors and students recommended was that we create an action plan for those people. And so if you're in this category, we'll create a 90-day action plan to get you participating again. And at the end of 90 days, if you're participating, great. You're doing well, we'll move you up, you'll have the rewards. But if you're not participating, recognize that the incentives disappear. And we reserve the opportunity or the right to dismiss you from the program if after 90 days we can't get you to participate. Because we need you to be doing what we ask you to do in order to consider you a member of Blue Ribbon. This is the path we want you to be on. Now the last thing, all the way down to the bottom, you can see it on your own document in your folder if you need to. We got one very strong recommendation that we thought was very wise, and that was they said we shouldn't dismiss students if the reason they're not participating is from a lack of support from their mentor or their parents. We shouldn't punish kids if it's the adults that are disappointing them. And so we agree with that. We think that's very wise. And if a student is trying to participate, we will continue to try to re-engage them and keep them in the program.